Hello and welcome to Wellness Unplugged. Here we have honest conversations about life, mental health and everything in between. I'm Lesley, a counsellor with years of experience helping people navigate life's challenges, and I'm so glad you've joined me today. Today we're talking about something we all do but pretend we don't: emotional hoarding. You know the type. The people who keep grudges like it's a rare collector's item. The ones who replay arguments in the shower like they're preparing for a Supreme Court case. The ones who can't throw away that embarrassing thing they did in 2009? Let's be honest, maybe that someone is you. Why do we hold on to the past like it's some kind of security blanket made of disappointment? Why do we keep reliving regrets, grudges, and moments of humiliation as if somehow they get better with age? And more importantly, how do we finally let them go before they turn us into bitter old hermits who shout at pigeons in the park? Today we're diving into the psychology behind emotional hoarding, why your brain clings to pain like it's a life raft, the black bag trick that might just help you finally let go, what all of this does to your mental and physical health. Spoiler, it's really not great. And practical ways to declutter your emotional attic before it collapses on you. So let's get into it. First, let's get something straight. Your brain is not trying to ruin your life. It's just wired for survival. And unfortunately, survival means remembering everything that ever went wrong so that you don't repeat it. There are a few specific psychological reasons why we hold on to negative emotions, and they all come down to how our brain processes threats and pain. We have a negativity bias. Your brain pays more attention to bad experiences than good ones. This is why one nasty comment can stick with you far longer than 10 compliments. Evolutionarily speaking, this has kept us alive. Our ancestors had to remember which berries were poisonous, not which ones tasted nice. We then have the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains hate unfinished business. Remember we talked about this last week. If something feels unresolved, like an argument where you never got the last word, it lingers in your mind like an unpaid bill. That's why you keep replaying that time your boss made a snarky comment 3 years ago. Emotional attachment. Just like some people can't throw away old concert tickets, others can't let go of emotional pain because it's become part of who they are. Parts of their identity. If you've been wronged, hurt, or disappointment, holding on to it might feel like proof that your pain was real. But wow, at what cost? And last one, the just-in-case thinking. We convince ourselves that holding on to these emotions are useful. I need to remember how awful that was so I don't make the same mistake again. The problem, most of the time, the lesson has already been learned. And all we're really doing is carrying around extra emotional baggage. So what does this emotional hoarding lead to? Well, if you ever met someone who still complains about their high school breakup decades later, you already know the answer. Just for a moment, imagine carrying a giant black trash bag full of grudge, regret, and humiliation. Every time someone annoyed you, every time you failed, every time you embarrassed yourself, it all goes into the bag, and you're lugging it around every single day. Exhausting? Right. Now picture someone cutting the bottom of that bag open. What would happen? Well, everything would spill out and suddenly you'd be free. But here's the twist. Most of us are clutching that bag so hard, for dear life, that we're terrified of what would happen if we just let go. Well, the question is, why? Well, some people think that if they just let go, they're forgiving the past, and they certainly don't want to do that. Others believe that their grudges and regrets are part of their personality. This is just who I am. And some people just don't know how to put that bag down because they've carried it around for so long. But keeping it, that's like drinking poison and hoping another person gets sick. In reality, what does carrying around this black bag of emotional baggage actually do to our mental health, to our physical health, to our relationships, to our decision making? Well, in terms of our mental health, we suffer from anxiety, depression, stress, and all things are made worse by this constant reliving of negativity. Your brain gets stuck in a loop, reinforcing the idea that the world is against you. Our physical health. Chronic stress leads to high blood pressure, poor sleep, digestive issues, and even a weakened immune system. So yes, holding on to that grudge might literally be making you sick. In our relationships, emotional hoarders tend to push people away. If you're constantly talking about the past, blaming others, or replaying old wounds, people will eventually stop listening, or worse, they'll start avoiding you. And finally, when it comes to decision making, regret can make you afraid to take risks. If you dwell on past mistakes, you might avoid trying new things, assuming, well, you'll just fail again. This is how emotional hoarding keeps people stuck. All right, we've dragged everything out the attic. Now, how do we finally get rid of it? Well, one method is the write and burn method. Write down everything you're holding on to, and I mean everything. Every grudge, every regret, every resentment. Then burn it. Shred it up, rip it up, burn it. Physically destroying it helps your brain register that it's gone. You could try reframing the story. Instead of "that person ruined my life," try "that person taught me an important lesson." Instead of "I was absolutely humiliated," try "wow, what a learning moment." You could set an expiration date on grudges. Give yourself a deadline. I'm allowed to be angry about this for 1 more month. Then I move on. Ask yourself, does this deserve space in my brain? Your mental energy is like rent. You don't have to let every bad memory live there rent-free. You could try counseling or journaling. Sometimes letting go isn't easy, and talking it out certainly helps. A journal is also a safe place to dump all that emotional clutter before it spills out into your daily life. The goal here is not to erase your past. It's to stop letting it weigh you down. So, what did we go through today? Emotional hoarding is real, and we all do it. Your brain clings to negativity, but that doesn't mean you have to. Holding on to pain is not protecting you. It is just making you miserable. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself. So, what's in your black bag? And more importantly, when are you finally going to take out the trash? If this podcast was talking directly to you, let me know about it. Let me know how you managed to cut the bottom of that black bag. If you have cut it, I'd love to know how you managed it. Or if you are still heaving that infuriating bag around with you, reach out to me to help lighten the load. You can contact me on info@lesleyharvey.co.za or direct any questions or queries to South Coast Radio. If you've been waiting for a sign to visit the dump, this is it. I'll leave you with a quote from Buddha. Holding onto anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. However, you are the one who gets burned. Thank you for joining me on Wellness Unplugged. Until next time, unplug, recharge, and remember, your wellness matters more than you think.
radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.